Hey y'all, this is Lydia. This is going to be a collective reading for fire signs. And I'm going to do a 3-column spread. The first column is going to be what action you're called to take at this time. The second column is going to be how you're being called to take this action. And the third column is going to be a message from your guides. And I'm just going to intuitively pull from the decks I have here and see what the divine has for you. I'm going to call this a timeless reading, perhaps, for the next week type of reading, but we'll see how it comes out. So starting out, we have the emergence. And the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. And I've been feeling this hard lately, I think, with Aries season kicking off our review of ego and just sort of reviewing how our ego responses work against us, and perhaps even how we identify and view ourselves being reworked and opened up into perhaps a wider focus. This emergence card is sort of grounding that in the sense of this heaviness that we've been going through. We're being asked to not let it take us down, but allow it to release so that we can emerge, and so that we can be this new expression of ourselves. And perhaps even a truer expression of ourselves, free of so many filters and density and weight, and perhaps even trauma or pain or hurt or the past. And we're being asked to really focus in on the beauty and the innocence and the expansiveness of who we are and our creative potential and what we want to create moving forward. And part of that is really tapping into what is working, what is beautiful, what gives us a sense of childlike playfulness and wonder, and to really start tapping into the magic in our day-to-day realities and the magic of our quotidian experiences. So let's get into what action you're being called to take, how you're being called to take it, and advice from your guides. So the action you're being called to take right now is the Hermit and the Hanged Man. So gaining clarity, taking a step back, and being patient. And in this deck in particular, the Hanged Man is bearing witness to your true self and surrendering the known so that you can step more fully into perhaps more that's there that isn't immediately perceptible, gaining a new perspective, and then also turning within and really cultivating our inner light so that we can shine it back out into the world. But the sense here is that it's turning in first, it's taking a pause first, so that we can, or you can, get into this energy of really having some clarity, really having perspective of how you want to move forward. But this is tying deeply into identity and sense of self, and really how that plays into what we believe we're capable of. And how you're being called to take this action is the Four of Cups and the Page of Cups. So the intuition with the water energy, that cup energy, but also the Four of Cups is asking you to really not pay attention again to things that aren't working, or really feeling, that what you put your energy into at this point isn't producing the results that you wanted, and letting go of that so that you can start fresh, so that you can be in this sense of childlike wonder and curiosity. And in this card too, there's a girl playing with a box, and she's sort of admiring her cup. And there's a sense too that there's a, emerging self, or perhaps you aren't quite sure what this emerging self is, or how exactly you're transforming, or your sense of self is transforming, but you're being called to be playful about it, and to be open, and to really consider what can you create, and who are you if you were to let go of perhaps limiting perspectives and half-hearted perspectives about who you are and what you can create and what you're capable of creating, and really opening up so that new perspectives can emerge about, again, who you are, but also how who you are plays into what you're capable of creating. So, advice from your guides. We have the Six of Wands and the Eight of Coins. The Six of Wands, getting above the density, getting above, the weight or darkness or despair, and really getting to the nitty-gritty of, what you can create, what you want to create, and perhaps even creating a skill set or a stable foundation to move forward from. But again, this is all happening internally, especially as we're still in the first 10 degrees of Aries, dealing with our ego and our relationship to our own ego, and really reworking those things, we're getting to the point in the zodiac where we're being called to really ground in this new identity, this new sense of self that's emerging. And as we do that, we're also being reminded that, being busy or being in distractions is not necessarily going to help us, especially focusing on things that, don't light our hearts up or don't give us any sense of satisfaction. And to really let go of, blasé or mundane or very uncompelling perspectives and viewpoints, and to open up into something more magical, more brighter, and also more childlike, and in that playfulness and that open playfulness. And an underlying card for this reading, we have forgiveness. And in this deck, this is also about letting go of the past and allowing a new dawn to come, a new dawn to emerge. So again, we might be feeling with this Aries energy to hit the ground running on things, or to really put foot to pavement on projects. But first and foremost, before we can even do that, we need clarity, we need perspective, and we need to allow space for things to ground in that have been changing within us when it comes to how we view ourselves and how our ego behavior plays out, and perhaps even our responses. The sun with Chiron too is highlighting core wounds. So wounds we want to let go of so that we can move forward. And again, this is also very internal work. It's not about, trying to build something and really getting down to the nitty gritty at this point. It's the nitty gritty within. It's the nitty gritty of who we are and how we view ourselves, and how that hinders us or stops us, and how we can break open the more rigid parts of that so that we can be in a freer mindset and a freer energy. And I'm going to pull from the Animal Spirit deck just to clarify each column and see what the animal spirits have to say. So the action we're called to take is to clear our energy, to allow the energy to sort of break up and open up and loosen, especially if we're feeling dense or weighed down. We're being asked to clear, to let go of any perhaps even limiting perspectives or despair energy or heartbreak energy, and to allow some healing, some space for healing, so that we can transform and a truer sense of self can emerge, free of labels and perhaps even, old attachments of who we think we are, and allow something completely new to merge, something completely fresh. And how we're being called to do that is our sense of wisdom and our sense of inner wisdom. And also, again, this is dealing with focusing on the treasures, focusing on things that light us up and not on things that bring us down, and to really be in perhaps even a higher perspective when it comes to what we're going through and what's coming up for us right now. And advice from our guides is to break down illusion and to really master our sense of when it comes to how our ego plays games and how our ego perhaps even creates illusions so that we don't have to confront certain things and be in the familiar. We're being called to really be honest about those things, really allow those illusions to break down, and to get into a higher place so that we can have some clarity and to see more clearly, okay, what is actually going on and what can I do at this time? What am I actually capable of right now? And what would serve me, and what can I put my energy into to build the skills so that I can move forward in the ways that I want to move forward and that I see myself moving forward in the future. So I hope this message resonates, fire signs. I'm sending love and wishing you well. Bye.